Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mono, your one-stop shop for ideas, insight, and conversation. I'm your host, Arush, with your co-hosts,
Lena,
Aki,
Ananya.
Today, we're going to be talking about AI art and the impact it's having on creativity, artists, and the way we value art itself.
Let's start with where AI training data comes from. Much of it is scraped from the web, blogs, articles, books, etc., often without licenses, while some data is licensed, user-generated, or synthetically created.
Before training, that data is curated. Spam and low-quality content are promptly removed, and data is sorted and labeled. But this process still involves copying copyrighted works, which creates a big legal risk.
And importantly, public availability doesn't mean public domain. Even curation counts as additional copying.
The clearly copyrighted data is then transformed, text is turned into tokens, images into vectors, and audio into spectrograms, and are used to train models by repeatedly predicting and correcting errors.
This can lead to memorization of copyrighted material, which matters because it can reproduce creative work and compete with artists' markets.
Because of the potential market harm and substitution, copyright is one of the biggest legal risks that AI industry faces today.
All this brings us into how AI outputs are treated under the law, where copyright depends on one key requirement: human authorship.
The U.S. Copyright Office has made it clear that purely AI-generated works aren't copyrightable. If human input is minimal, just like writing a prompt, the work effectively falls into public domain.
AI-assisted works can still be protected, but only when humans make meaningful creative contributions, which must be disclosed.
And so this leaves us in a legal gray area. If AI-generated art isn't protected, ownership and responsibility still remain unclear.
And as a photographer myself, this is something I feel really strong about. Photography takes time, learning composition, lighting, editing, and developing a personal style.
Yeah.
Seeing AI generate all these images by pulling from countless photographers' work without permission feels like less than innovation and more like completely shortcutting that process. For me, the value of art comes from the human decisions behind it, not just the final image. The creative process is the true indicator of an art's value.
That makes sense.
And art's value, of course, traditionally is valued not just by price, but by reputation, its rarity, and the full story behind that work, especially at auction houses.
People tend to value human-made art because of intention, lived experience, and originality, tied to a real, living person.
When people know a piece of AI is generated, studies show they see it as less meaningful, less authentic, and even if it looks impressive, it's just not there.
And at the same time, AI floods the market with fast, cheap images, reducing the scarcity of original works and putting the economic pressure onto all artists.
And looking ahead, some researchers do argue that AI could reshape art rather than end creativity, similar to how cameras once changed artistic practice.
Bias against AI-labeled art may actually raise the value of clearly human-made work, even as AI lowers overall market prices.
Still, the economic risks are real. Estimates suggest that AI could automate a significant share of creative tasks, especially entry-level roles.
And so the future seems less about replacement and more about whether artists can adapt and maintain control over their own personal work.
Now, to continue this, and to finish off our episode for today, we're going to talk to the founder of an AI startup called Envelop.ai. Hello, Mr. Nathan. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, hi. I'm a co-founder of a startup called as Envelope.ai. We are into B2B procurement and based in Helsinki, Finland.
So when we look at the big picture, do you think technology, the way it's being used in art right now, do you believe that it's helping creativity or changing it in unexpected ways?
I think it will definitely help creativity express itself. So you can be a lot more productive. You can be a lot more efficient in the whole art creation. You can also come up with new forms of art. So ultimately, I think it will help art grow and have people express themselves much more, in a different ways than before.
Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. And so this is our first episode of Mono. Thank you so much for joining us today, and have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.